Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. And we are going to try making like dehydrated peppers in the oven because I do not have a dehydrator. But if you look, I have all these peppers and they're actually really hot. I tried putting them in an actual like soup recipe that I tried, and they are hot. And so I am going to just cut them. And in the recipe that I'm watching, I personally, like the recipe that I'm following, I am going to check them after 30 minutes because they're so thin. Personally, I'm probably going to even blend it after I do the dehydrating because of the fact that it is so, just because I think it'll be easier that way. But I'm just cutting the tops off, and then we are throwing them in the oven. I'm going to do 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to try basically making almost like my idea was to kind of do it like dry red pepper flakes, but instead we would do these peppers because like they're so hot that I can't just eat them raw. And I was trying to think of an idea to use. So this is what I'm going to do. So my oven will be at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And I will be still putting all the tops in the compost. I just wanted to cut the tops off. They're so most of them are so thin that it's too hard to cut them in half like the recipe suggests. But this recipe is a pretty basic recipe. It usually says you can do hot peppers, cayenne, habanero, Thai. It really gives you a lot of suggestions. I actually am out of parchment paper like it suggests you use, so we're just going to use aluminum foil. I need to get some more parchment paper. I know that my boyfriend would probably disagree with me for using the aluminum foil, but it is what it is. It does not say you have to put anything olive oil or anything like that on there, so I am honestly probably not going to. I don't have any kind of spray because I actually ran out of that last night when I was making these quesadillas. If you were on my Instagram, you would have seen those. I made these crispy black bean quesadillas. They're so good. That's actually my second time having them. I really like them. So some of them get really big like this, and then I've had others that are so thin. But I did leave some of them on there so they get a little bit bigger. I also want to try pickling jalapenos, but I don't have enough jalapenos that are ready yet. So I got to figure out, I got to look up how to make sure the jalapenos stay good. I'm thinking that we can probably put them in some water or something like that to kind of make sure they, maintain their, goodness. To me, these look like string beans, but then you try tasting one and you realize that they are definitely not string beans. I have one tomato that's looking really good, and I'm excited for that. I wish I would have more cherry tomatoes that are looking ready, but sadly that is just not happening yet, and so I am waiting for that. And I'm going to finish cutting, and I will show you how this turns out. The peppers are ready to go in. I am going to check them after 30 minutes to see if they are burning because, like I said, they're pretty thin for a hot pepper. and I just want to make sure that they don't burn because I really want this to work, because they're like, to me, they're hot enough that like I think they're better in like as a seasoning. So that's why I like thought this would be a really great idea. I do not have like an actual dehydrator, so I looked up how to oven dehydrate. So I'm gonna try this. It didn't say to do olive oil or any kind of like spray. It just said to keep an eye on them, and then like once you have finished, use like you can crush them to make more flakes or grind them to make like a chili powder. So basically, like that's what I want to do, is to make, you know, kind of like red pepper flakes where you make a seasoning. So I am actually going to do that once they're cooled and grind them into flakes or powder. So and it just does to store in a glass jar out of sunlight, which that's what I do with all my seasonings, is I just keep them down in one of those little, can't even think of the name right now, the Lazy Susan, that's what it is. I love those things. So let's get started. I have been working on drying. We are now at 12:25. When I started, it was like 11 o'clock. We have some dried ones, but it's taken a while for them to dry. I am honestly surprised because I thought it would, like, they would dry faster. So I'm putting them in there for another like 30-ish minutes. Maybe like start with 15, then like check on them, because they're like at this weird point where like you can feel on the outside that they're getting dry, but the inside feels too thick, and I don't even know if that makes sense. But we're basically doing that now, and I actually might try doing pickled jalapenos either today or tomorrow, because I do think that I looked at the recipe I wanted to try doing, and I have 7 jalapenos. The recipe calls for like 2 jars, 10 jalapenos. So I think if I only do 5, maybe I could probably make it work, and then I could just wait until another 5 are ready. But I could also just wait until a couple of jalapenos are ready. I don't know. So that is where I'm at today. I also need to go check my laundry. So yeah. My peppers are done. Most of them are completely dry. There are a few that like they were on the bigger side, and I probably should have cut them in half, but I didn't, and they're not as dried as they probably should be, but they're dry enough that I'm just not going to worry about it, because I just don't want to. We've been doing this now for, it is 1:34, and I started around like 11, so I've been doing this now for like 2.5 hours. That's my guess, but now I just am going to grind it all up and put it in a jar. And I still have peppers out there that they're not ready yet, and so I just tried to pick all the ones that I knew were like done and good to go. So let's see how this looks once it is done. Here's what it looks like right now, and it definitely still needs to go some more. So I'm gonna try to get it to go for a little bit more. It might need to go in like the food processor. That might work better, but at the same time, it's so very little. So it did say you could use a coffee grinder, but I don't know about that. So we're just gonna keep going, and like even when I open it up, you can smell it. Here is the ground up peppers. For something I've learned for next time is to make sure all the peppers are completely dried. I got a little lazy, and I actually think a dehydrator will work much easier, but because I don't have a dehydrator, I got a little like lazy and put some that were like half dried but not fully dried with the dried ones to grind up, and I think that kind of messed up the process. So I am going to put it back in the oven, but only for like 5 minutes. Here's what the peppers are looking like now. I definitely think they look better. I don't think they're going to grind up to like perfection or whatever, in the sense of like, I think about like when you buy it in the store, it's literally every piece is so small, but it's not going to be like that because I'm making it from scratch. So I think this looks a lot better and more ground up than before, because I think it just overall looks better. I think that next time I would want to just make sure to like keep drying first and then do it. Because I would do this again, because I personally think that this is like the perfect way to just do something up, as well as, although I don't have a dehydrator, I do have, like, I mean, I think about like red pepper, chili flakes, and like other like hot spices, and like this is like one of those perfect things that I can just dry it up and, you know, put in like a little container and save. And so my thought is even to just use it for, you know, soups in the future, or if I wanted to, I could throw it on some pizza. I don't know if I would, but that's a thought too. And that's part of what I love. I mean, my dad wanted me to just pull the plant up, and I just thought that was a dumb idea. But I'm also very much like all about trying to find ways to reduce waste, and I really also love that although the pepper is really hot, so I can't eat it like alone, but I am just personally like can only handle so much hot food. I do find that this is a great way to use it, because I still love like red chili flakes. I still love like stuff like sriracha on my tofu, so I think this is a great way to use it. I will see you guys next time. I definitely have some other things planned, like trying to pickle, or I'm thinking pickling, but I've also heard from another friend of mine who you can candy jalapenos. So let me know in the comments if you want me to try doing candied jalapenos or either pickled jalapenos. And then I also definitely like, I know I'm just in general trying to do things to make sure my garden doesn't go to waste now that summer is slowly coming to an end. So even just simply like trying to make sure all my tomatoes get used, even if it means like trying to like make tomato sauce. Like my mom even got me like an Amish cookbook. I don't know if I will use the recipes exactly. I might like, you know, make my own in a way, but I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!